Hey, ladies and gents, welcome back to Real Asian Tarot. This is a channel where we blend intuitive tarot readings, all right, with Asian wisdom and Asian culture. We do this because it can help us interpret better outcomes from the cards and give you a more in-depth reading as well, all right? Today's reading, in particular, is shared with full permission. It speaks to anyone walking on a journey of self-realization, transformation, and becoming who you are meant to be. But one thing which I do have to say is that this one is also specifically for my friend Princess Star. All right. I will not be revealing their private situations or things like that because it's very important that we maintain client privacy here. All right. But I will give my answers in a way that will speak to them without giving too much. All right. So please do look forward to what we're going to perform here today. I will show you how the card drawing is done. There are no tricks, very minimal editing. There's no editing for any of the pulling or anything like that. So please join me on this journey, and I hope it will give you the answers that you seek. Let's take a look now at the reading. Okay, so we are going to be doing a reading for Star today. Star wanted to know more about how she can achieve happiness. Now, while she has a very specific question, I'm not going to disclose that question here. So we're going to use a star formation. All right, we are going to use a star formation. This is just an example, but it's going to look something like this. All right, it'll go past, present, future, obstacles that you are going to encounter, and then the final outcome. So this is the formation that we're going to use, but of course that was just an example. We're actually going to shuffle the cards now while showing you the actual results. Now, we do these readings a little bit differently. All right, I do the shuffling live. There's nothing pre-prepared. There's no secret technique here. All right, sometimes cards fall out of the deck. There's a special rule when it happens. You put them back in reverse, okay? So we're going to do that again. So we're just going to shuffle. You just shuffle without thinking too hard about it. You don't, you think about the question. You have that in the forefront of your mind, but you don't try to force an outcome. You don't try to force a result. Don't worry if something happens like that. Again, in whatever direction it falls, you just reverse it and put it back in. It's a sign that the cards, okay, they're trying to sort themselves out so that they can give you the best possible answer to the question. Now, when it comes time to actually put the cards out and lay them out, we do not just take the top 5 cards. That's the wrong way to do this. You have to go through the deck and find the card that is right for the moment. So we do this right in front of the, we do this right in front of the camera, like that. All right, and when the card is correct, it will be placed in the appropriate slot. So that's how we, this one's close by. Okay. Next one's pretty far actually, so I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. Okay, this is the one. And then the last card is here. Okay, so the star formation is complete. I'm just going to check on that. And as always, when the reading is finished, the deck must be placed horizontally nearby like that. Okay, so I'm just checking according to the camera. I don't have a lot of technology, so I'm just doing this on a budget. All right, so now we're going to reveal each of these cards in turn. Okay, starting from the left-hand side, this is the past. Okay, we draw the card back and we flip it this way. All right, you don't flip it this way because that'll reverse the card. You flip it this way, okay? 2 of Pentacles, okay? So the past is 2 of Pentacles. Now, because this table is slippery, I have to do that. Sorry about that. Okay, your present is the Fool. Okay. Once again, all right. The future is the Page of Swords, upright position. Okay, obstacles. The Empress. Okay, and the outcome, the final outcome is 3 of Cups. Okay. Now that we have all these cards, what we're going to do is we're going to go upstairs. Please remember the cards, all right? They are 2 of Pentacles, the Fool, Page of Swords, past, present, future. Then you've got the Empress right here as your obstacle, and the 3 of Cups will be the outcome. So let's go upstairs. We're going to interpret this reading, and I'm going to show you what it means. Okay, welcome back. Now we're going to actually interpret the cards. We have them all right here. Okay, just going through them one at a time. We had the 2 of Pentacles in the past position. We had the Fool in the present position. Okay, that's the card right there. And then we had the Page of Swords in the position of the future. Okay. Then we had the Empress as the obstacle. Very rare for it to be in the obstacle slot, but either way. Three of Cups was the outcome. Okay, so we're going to actually go through each of these, and I will interpret the meaning of these cards and explain how they function in the positions that they do. So for anyone else that is listening or that may not know how tarot works, let me guide you through how we interpret this for Star. Okay, now I've actually gotten everything written down here because I want to get this message completely correct. This was actually a very complex reading, but I believe that the information you're about to get will help you spiritually. So let's begin straight away. The first is the Two of Pentacles, all right? That is this card. This was in the position of the past. So when you have to interpret this, what you have to understand is that the Two of Pentacles shows a past where you, Star, have been juggling multiple parts of your life at once. The Two of Pentacles is always a card that represents balance, trying to find balance, resourcefulness, ups and downs, adaptability, flexibility. It represents juggling life, all right? You have been juggling a lot in the past: responsibilities, expectations, emotions, different sides of yourself. This is the card of duality, the inner duality that you've always felt. It is the card that represents managing two realities at once, one of which may not be ideal. It is about who the world sees and who you know yourself to be. In Asian spirituality, we connect this to the concept of yin and yang, the feeling of constantly shifting between energies and trying to maintain that harmony under pressure. At times, this can cause a serious feeling of imbalance because yin and yang are opposing energies, yet they are both necessary for the person to function. You can't have one without the other. That is what is represented by the yin yang symbol. So if you don't know that, look that up. If not, it's okay. In Asian spirituality, the feeling of constantly shifting between these energies, trying to maintain that harmony under pressure, is not necessarily a bad thing. It also represents an opportunity for self-growth and strength under that pressure. You have spent years balancing these competing forces, sometimes gracefully, sometimes with exhaustion, but always with the core concept of resilience. And I actually had to write that down because, I'm just going to be upfront and honest with you. I had to write that down because I did not want to lose this particular train of thought. It was very important. You have been doing it with resilience. And that's exactly what this card shows: adaptability and resilience. You didn't collapse under the weight of conflict from your outer life and inner truth. You kept going. And that is what the past is telling you. It is a card that is telling you you have been strong. Okay? So the present now is the Fool. This is the next card in the reading. So what does this represent for you? The Fool doesn't mean that you're stupid. Okay, anyone that tells you that doesn't know how to read these things. All right, so please sue them or tell them that they don't know shit about what they're doing. Okay, all jokes aside, okay, the Fool is a card that represents a fresh beginning, a leap of faith, and rebirth. Right now, you have the energy of the Fool. It is the card of innocence, and it is one of the most powerful cards on a transformative journey. This is not foolishness. People think the Fool represents foolishness and carelessness, but he also represents originality, adventure, travel, youth, spontaneity, new beginnings. People forget about all that. This isn't foolishness, Star. It is spiritual courage. It is the courage that comes before stepping onto a new path. In Buddhism, we call this the beginner's mind, Shoshin. Seeing your life with openness, curiosity, and most importantly, possibility. The Fool is the soul that is saying, I'm ready to become the truest version of myself, though I know not the way. Lord of the Rings right there, okay? Though I know not the way. You are going to take that ring to Mordor, but you have to go on the journey toward it, all right? So, as you are waiting to go on that journey, please remember, you already have the energy to step onto your path. You are energetically stepping onto your path. Don't lose that spark and that energy, because that energy is your present. The inner journey has begun long before the external one. So this card is a blessing. It is telling you you are supported. The universe recognizes your authenticity and your desire to be on this journey. Step forward into your adventure with confidence. Okay, next, the future. The card of the future is the Page of Swords. Okay, the Page of Swords can sometimes be a difficult, wow, English at this moment, right? Difficult card to interpret in the future position. Why? Because this is a card that has a lot of different meanings. However, in this particular circumstance, I've chosen to interpret this in the following way. This is a card about understanding yourself more clearly. It is a card of mental awakening. The Page of Swords represents a future moment where you gain the mental clarity and a sharper understanding of who you are becoming. In the future, this is the card. This is showing your future of inner breakthroughs, self-realization, fresh communication, speaking your truth clearly. It is not your final form, but the awakening. All right, the awakening phase. When thoughts align with identity and identity aligns with action. In Qigong, this is when your qi rises to the head. The mind clears, the internal fog disappears, and you can see yourself with honesty and confidence. What this card is saying is that you will understand your body, your identity, your mind, your journey more clearly than ever before. It also predicts that you will have more confidence, less fear, and more self-acceptance. But it also comes with a warning. The Page of Sword, the Page of Swords, sorry, can be somebody that is brash, blunt, overly chatty, yapping too much, and engaging in petty gossip. Now, if you take those and actually interpret them, what it is telling you is that, look, in the future, you may face injustice. And in speaking out or being truthful or direct about said injustice, you may think you are doing the right thing because you are consumed by the justice of the Page of Swords. You are consumed with that personal justice. But this card warns you to do one thing. While it shows you a positive outcome of confidence and self-acceptance, never speak without thinking. It is a card that also tells you to be fair, not to get drawn into arguments, and to use your head. All right? So if in future you encounter conflict, situations and thoughts that may not align with your ultimate goal, think carefully through them and you will be all right. Okay? Now, two cards left to go that are very important. The first is the obstacles. Okay, the Empress is your obstacle. This is a card that very, very rarely appears in the obstacle position. And I'll tell you why, because this is actually a very positive card. The Empress, in its natural meaning, let me just quickly pull that up. I actually am having a guide in the background so I can read accurately because I do the interpretation myself, but I want to make sure that you guys get the correct information, or in this case, Star gets the correct information. The Empress is a card that represents pregnancy, fertility, motherhood, sensuality, nurturing, creativity, beauty, femininity, nature, harmony, and art. It's normally such a positive card, so why is it in the obstacle position? A lot of readers might interpret this very negatively, or they might stretch the meaning. We're not going to do that here. I have a lot of experience because of my Eastern background, so I'm going to put it in yin-yang terms so that it's easier to understand. All right, let me just go through this step by step. I actually prepared this script beforehand, so let me read through it. Okay, the Empress, when it appears as an obstacle, is a card about body healing, self-love, vulnerability with femininity. That's something you gotta understand. It is a profound card to appear as the obstacle, but you cannot interpret it negatively. Okay, you cannot interpret this negatively. Instead, what it is revealing to you is the core challenge. Okay, in order to get to the future and in order to see the outcome you want, this is the core challenge you will face. Learning to love and inhabit your femininity. Learning to feel at home in your own body with your femininity. The Empress is beauty, feminine, sensuality, self-worth, nurturing, embodiment. As an obstacle, it's not telling you that the challenge will come from other people. It's telling you that the challenge will come from your own expectations and internal pressure to embody femininity perfectly. It is not a card that means failure, but it does mean the journey toward loving yourself will take some time. You may compare yourself to unrealistic ideals. You may feel impatient. You may worry more about how others see you. But the Empress is fundamentally a card of growth. It is a challenge to learn softness with yourself. In Chinese philosophy, the Empress aligns with the yin energy, okay? The gentle, nurturing, receptive energy of a woman. The obstacle in this sense is therefore not the femininity, but the pressure you put on yourself to embrace the yin energy, even when it may cause disharmony within you when it clashes with the yang. Yin and yang exist in harmony. Sometimes yin is greater, sometimes yang is greater. But what you need to understand is that in this case, you may be too eager to swell the yin energy within you. Whoops, almost knocked a bottle over. You may be too eager to swell the yin energy within you, and that can be dangerous because you are trying to rush a journey that will take time. Okay? This is a card that is telling you your greatest obstacle will be growth. So let me leave you with a very important saying, all right? Memorize this. Let yourself grow naturally. Do not judge the flower before it blooms. Okay? Now, I'll finish the reading with the last card. Your outcome is the Three of Cups. This is a very positive outcome and is the best one you could get. Okay? Or, well, one of the best ones you could get. It's not a rare gotcha pull or anything, but, let me be serious here for a moment. What the Three of Cups represents is community acceptance, celebration, and emotional support. It is the card, almost said it's the cup. It's the card of reunion, celebration, socializing, gathering. You can look this up online if you want to. I looked it up online so I could get the basic meaning of the card. But the interpretation here, all right, is that the Three of Cups is community, friendship, support, celebration, people lifting you up, and emotional relief. This card actually answers your initial question directly. Will you be mentally happy? Yep. Will you feel supported? Yes. Will you be aligned with your body? Absolutely. All right. Your friends and family will bring you joy, not rejection. In Asian cultural symbolism, the Three of Cups represents a tea ceremony, a circle of loved ones sharing warmth, acceptance, and harmony. The outcome promises that you will find your people, you will find your emotional safety, you will find celebration, not isolation, and your journey is one that is being witnessed with love and affirmation. Okay? This will be a future filled with joy, belonging, and strength. But, and there's always a but, because you cannot interpret in a positive manner and not consider the other possible outcomes. All right? In terms of the outcome, yes, you are going to be happy, you are going to be fine. But remember the two warnings. The Three of Cups is all about harmony, reunions, all that kind of good stuff. But remember, you must have it in your mind as well that there are still two things for you to face. The Page of Swords tells you to think before you speak, and the Empress tells you that growth is the journey. Do not rush it. Okay? So even as you are overwhelmed by the happiness, even as you are enjoying the best possible situation, please take some time to think before you rush in. Take a moment to breathe and ensure that you are truly doing what is right for you, that you are on the right step of your journey. All right? Here's a final message. You asked me a question about your future, and I will tell you now that you will be mentally happy, aligned with yourself, and accepted. The cards say yes, this is your outcome, but it will not be instant. It will be genuine and deep, but not instant, so do not become impatient. You will grow into your identity with clarity and strength. You will learn to love yourself as you change, as you transform, as you begin this journey. Your community will celebrate with you. And one day you will be able to see yourself fully and say, yeah, this is me. This is who I was meant to be. Okay? Be aware of the negative influences that can destabilize this. Be aware of what might hamper you on this journey. Self awareness of your emotions is crucial. All right. Be introspective. You don't have to overthink, but be introspective at all times during this journey. And I promise you, you will get the outcome you want. All right. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you will all walk forward with clarity, kindness toward yourself, and the courage to become your truest self. In Taoist practices, when qi flows freely, the heart finds peace. In Buddhist wisdom, prana cuts through illusion so that the real self can shine through. If this reading brought you comfort or insight, feel free to subscribe and return for more Asian inspired tarot guidance. Until next time, take care of your energy and let it guide you home. All right? Consultations are always open. See you later, fam.